Okay, so it's 5:20 on the 4th, which I like that 5 times 4 equals 20. I don't know. I'm always looking at these number pattern things. Man, I was just crying. Oh my gosh. The thing that was making me cry was the cutest fucking thing. And I don't even know if it's real or if somebody's fantasy, but I love it. It says, it shows a thing. It says, here the dogs pick the people. And so then it has a room, and all of the adoptive candidates are all sitting in chairs around this big room. And then, oh, I was going to cry. Then they let the dogs out, and the dogs go around, like looking at the people, sniffing at the people and stuff. And then they literally go up and choose a person. It was so emotional. I could not believe it. It was so much more powerful than the people picking the dog. It's the craziest thing. And how emotional the people would get when the dog picked them. Oh my God. And a lot of the people were just like looking down. And the dog would come up and be looking at him. And then it would come up and start, sniffing, hitting him with her nose and come up like, and she's you. And the people would start crying and get so excited. And one was a big giant mastiff. That always gets me. Which I, have a soft spot for mastiffs. And this, on TikTok, there's a big thing with the backyard breeders and all that. And there's it's kind of like there's a lot of shame behind breeding at this point because of the crisis that is occurring with the housing shortage for dogs and what they're doing to remedy the situation and the choices they're making and how horrific and lack of compassion and empathy there is in regards to their choices. And anyways, one day there was somebody who was showing these mastiff puppies, and so I was looking at them and I liked them. And then I must have followed them because I must have seen a few of their videos. And so I started following them. I was like, I love mastiffs. I want to see the mastiffs. On Facebook, when I was on Facebook a long time ago, I was in lots of mastiff groups. Things have changed a lot since. But in those groups, on Facebook, the whatever you would call them, the groups of mastiff people, we were all mastiff owners. But also you could go into those groups and you would find where, you could find puppies. Somebody selling puppies. But mostly it was all people talking about different things their dog does and taking pictures, showing pictures. And, it's your opportunity to show how cute yours was. And so, and to ask questions. That was the big thing to me. It was because you could ask questions about things with their health. And things that they would do in particular that were different than other dogs and stuff. Because it is different to have a dog that weighs up to 200 pounds, which that lady who does the plants, which I haven't spoken to her or anything since, but her dogs that lived 11, 12, and 13 years, she said they were all well over 200 pounds. And so, anyways, I'm still, hopeful that I can stretch Stella's life more. Especially, I want to stretch it to this med bed situation, or even they have this PILL is supposed to come out that is supposed to increase your dog's life because they've purposely been shortening it. And so, it's a part of our flipping. But then I also don't know, future and what her, what she's here to experience and what, when our time is up. And when our time is up, our time is up. And there's nothing you can do about it. And I've been seeing so much of that. Oh my God. So much people's time being up. Oh God. And I have thought about it, and it's like, God, I don't want it. I don't want to go through that again. Her dying in my arms. That was so traumatic. And I've seen that in the videos recently of that. And I've seen other people, you know, I just woke up and my dog's gone. And I'm just like, that, you know, it's horrible, but also it's so much more like peaceful. It's so much more, and it's like, out of the choices, if that's the destiny, I would definitely prefer that choice over the trauma of the other, because it is very traumatic. If you've never experienced it, it's very traumatic. And it's different than when you just go and you medically in their life. That is different than them, what happens when they just die in your arms. It's because there's usually issues with their breathing and their like Lucy started having like these seizure looking things, and that's what has happened with some of these other dogs, and the breathe, it's just very traumatic. So anyways, but I started following this page and they followed me back, so now we're friends. And they keep showing all these puppies. So they just keep having puppies and having puppies. And what got me the other day is they put up a post of these 4 dogs that were like 10 months old, looking for homes for them. So puppies that haven't been bought. And so they still have, I mean, especially when you're selling Mastiffs and they're expensive. And so you don't have all these people buying them, and then you keep having them and having them and having them. It's like, oh my God, this whole, I don't know, humans using animals for their, you know, to make money for them. It's like, we're so upside down and backwards, and this world is upside down and backwards, but we play along. We keep it that way. We keep it in the, we've kept ourselves in the upside down from our choices. And so anyways, you know, I have no idea, you know, I see the dogs and it's like, oh gosh, I should get one, the poor dogs. But then there's all these dogs to be rescued, just like that, adopting, which I think is such a better way to go. Have the dog choose the people. Don't have the people choose the dog, because people don't make good choices. And then they're frustrated by the dog that they pick. But the dogs are not picking for what you look like or something. They're picking by how you vibe. The vibration between the two of you. They're picking on their heart. How their heart feels next to yours. And then I think it's a better fit. I think that we don't know how to pick. We're like, oh, I like that one. I like the way they look. And we have no idea their personalities or anything. And so, and that's something that I learned the first time I went to dog training, is how ignorant it is to not look up the breed that you think is pretty, and then to learn about their personality. I always think I see like something dark here. Wrinkles. That's what I see. So anyways, but not look up the breed and see personality traits and know something about the dog breed before you go and just get it. So many people get Huskies and think, oh, they're so pretty. They are so freaking rowdy. They are so freaking, like, you have to take them on lots of walks. They can walk and walk and walk. They can run. They would choose to run. Like, they are, you know, if you had a lot of property, but they're known to even jump the fence and take off, go through the forest, and they're very independent, high active dogs. And I mean, that's why they're sled dogs. I mean, they'll freaking go and pull you across the ice for miles. So anyways, but people, you know, do this stuff all the time, and I really liked that video of the dogs choosing the people. The Mastiff picked this, like, this big burly guy. It was like this really cute, sweet moment, though, when he came over. All of them were cute as shit. The first one was a golden retriever, which still, you know, gets me because Winston still, he was a big part of my life, even though he drove me crazy. But, anyways, there was other things I want to talk about besides the dog thing. That was just the thing that I saw that got me super emotional. I was like, oh my God. And I think that is so much more of a better way to go. We should have more events like that when we bring the dog. There's so many better ways that we can handle this crisis with the animals. So many better ways. So, it's gross. This is my day. Every day. All day. It's not just the crying. It's the fucking sickness. It's the allergies. Man. And I won't check right now, but guaranteed it's getting thicker and yellower and going towards the green. So I should probably start taking some of those oregano black seed oil pills. I've been taking the black seed oil, which I don't know if I'm breathing better or what, but I did run out of those yeast pills. And the smell is coming back, whatever she's got going on. I wish I could figure some of this stuff out. It's like you go through all these things, trying to figure it out. You're like, oh, man. So, anyways, that's the life of us trying to be our own vet, our own doctor and stuff, which, I did talk to my stepmom yesterday for a minute. And one of the things that I wanted to say about it was that she was saying that she had just gotten out of the hospital recently and she had to have some surgery, a stent or something put into her leg. So she must have a blockage, maybe one in her heart or something. I don't know. But that's because they put the stent in her leg. And she said that they messed up and she couldn't walk. She hadn't been able to walk and she had to teach herself to walk again because they don't do shit. And this is how they do, old people do. They don't give a shit, man. And so I said, oh, well, I know that life. I went in and got her go into the hospital and come out with a brain injury. And she said, well, I'll tell you, I'm never going to one again. And I said, me either. That is the thing. It's like once you go in and you see them, you know, fuck you up and then what they do about it, it's like, nope, I'm done with that, please. So, you know, it's happening to more and more people. And there was, you know, I was saying, you know, my piece, you know, my dad would not make this deal and we're not going to make this deal. And, I mean, his kids, I mean, he'd be like, he'd be rolling in his grave. And plus, I feel like his shadow is right behind me directing this. He's like, you know, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. He's always been like that. And he always has. But anyways, it's crazy, too, because the presence of somebody is also, they become a part of you and you know what they would do and you know, so even if you don't believe in ghosts, it become imprinted, them as being, it becomes imprinted on you, but you're also an extension of them. And so it's trippy, which I just saw a guy having this total realization and he was getting all emotional. I'll tell you about his too. But anyways, so I said, there's no way that my dad would make this deal and my dad's kids, I meant to say Dick's kids, but I said my dad's kids would no way make this deal. So we're going to be doing what's the best thing for you because that's what my dad would want. And I heard a lot of scuffling, a lot of chitty chat. And then all of a sudden, here's my stepbrother on the phone. And hey, Kelly, this is, I said, I know who this is. And I said, I don't want to talk to you. I said, I don't trust you and I don't want to talk to you. He, well, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, well, blah, 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 blah. And so then I did do a little, well, you know, there's a little thing you're trying to do out of this deal. And you know that's against the law. And in case you didn't know that, that's against the law. You can't screw over old people for money. Click. So in my mind, I'm like, oh, the church out that's going on. Oh, they're trying to, which my sister looked it up and he was just back in for some parole violations or something. And so, you know, I'm sure it's like, because he did a lot of stepping back in this, but there's other two people who he is brought in, it seems, apparently, because my stepmom said, I don't even know these people. Well, they're telling my brother that, oh, we're best friends. It's like, oh, there's a lot of lies going on here, blah, 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 blah. And so, anyways, so I trust, you know, she doesn't know these people and that they're brought in and they're making this deal, and somebody's getting, you know, something for it, and which is going to leave her screwed, and she'd be screwed by now if we hadn't stepped in. And well, it hadn't been pulled in. It's not like we stepped in. We didn't know anything that was going on. The fucking county title place or whatever called us. And so I was thinking, oh, he probably thinks like, oh, look what they're trying to do. They're trying to get me in trouble. And because, you know, when you're a criminal, you got to worry about that kind of stuff. And thing is, it's the county. It's the title place and stuff, because they're even the ones who, because we're just like going along for the ride. Well, they're all friends. They said this is what they want. And they called my brother and said, hey, something shady going on here. I think you need to talk to her and talk to her alone, because this isn't right. Something weird's going on here. So my brother went back on and started going more into it. And that is, so it's like, hey, we're not the ones who, you got the county on your fucking tail now, dude. You better watch your fucking self. Don't be fucking blaming it on us. You know, criminals, you know, what goes around comes around. It's going to come back on you. You can't be, and, what was it? It was yesterday. I saw a video of somebody talking about just this thing, where I even sent it to my sister, because it's like, see this shit that goes on? And it was somebody else. Oh, it was a woman, and she, her dad was a farmer, and he just died like last year or something. And so they have a bunch of property like in Tennessee or something. And the, so, and part of the thing on my stepson, they were just like, well, we just want to get them off of the thing. So we're just like, okay, well, you know, we'll do this, and then we're off. But and then it all took a big turn, and then things started being revealed. But in this story with the Tennessee, so her mom's still alive, and she, the daughter, is, you know, her dad's daughter. And so she's more farmer, and she more knows about stuff, and, you know, is trying to keep things going. And she said since her dad died, she has been getting so many, they've been getting tons and tons of these vultures, the sweep in. Oh, here, you know, we'd like to take this 200 acres off your hands. We'll give you $5,000 per acre. And the lady was like, they keep coming in and doing this. And she said that they're totally lowballing her mom. And she said her mom would have no idea. And that these people who feed off of the, you know, off of the old elderly and stuff like that. And especially, she said they do it to farmers and stuff when farmers are down, which we, you know, we've known about that. I mean, that was Willie Nelson with the Farm Aid and stuff all that ways back, because the corporation had to come in and bully the farms and break them all. And they did it through a lot of shady practices, a lot of things, so that they could get control over our food. They couldn't let, you know, these farmers out here giving us good food. So they, so that's been a thing for a long time. But but so she said, you know, that they all sweep in, that they're going to buy this land and stuff, and they're totally lowballing. And she said that the acreage is literally would sell for like 35 an acre. So this is the same thing going on over here. And my stepmom's is in Texas. And I told her too, I said, I don't think that they're telling the truth. I said, tons and tons of people are moving from California and moving to Texas and looking for just what you've got. I said, we're getting a realtor, and the realtor could have people on the hook right now. So, because she's thinking, oh, this is going to take forever. We're never going to get this done. I'm going to be stuck here and stuff. And they're harassing her all the time. And she's older and she can't keep up with the, 6 acres. And so so anyways, I was like, I don't think it's going to take a long time. This is like, people are looking for this. And the realtor, my brother talked to her, God, my nose is stopped up, said that, that this is like 35 to 50 per, and that and they're trying to give her 5 or 1 to 5. So see, this is why I swear to God, when my dad stepped down from the heavens and said, "Hey, get my kids involved," but everything happens the way it's supposed to happen. Like, it was always going to happen that way. That's the thing. And then we all have the choices of, what do we do when this thing happens? Do we hold on to resentment? Do we just wipe our hands? Do we, it's a lot of different things. And I think we all feel very much like we got to protect her. We got to do what's right for her, and not let these people screw her over. I mean, this is how we got all these old people living in fucking, and I was looking up retirement communities, and they count retirement communities as old folks homes, I guess. And so I saw the prices of a lot. Fuck, it's so expensive. And this was something I had just seen. And I have talked about this because of what happened over in, all my dealings with the properties and stuff. Because mine started all the way back when we moved to Spokane. And we were leaving California where houses were like 600. And then we were moving to Spokane where the houses were like 20. And so houses were being sold for $20,000, and cute houses. This isn't little junky houses. This is like normal houses in the neighborhood. And so we were all excited. We had cash. We were ready to buy a house, and we go up there, and then spent a month every single day going out. And it was the same fucking runaround. This is how I started realizing that realtors were shady too, especially when I saw that one movie and they showed exactly what was going on here. And it was a more recent movie. I think it was called The Watchers. And it was, what's her name? What's his name? Stifler's mom played the realtor. And so she said some stuff. And the movie isn't about that. The movie's about these people moving into this house, and they start getting these letters, which is a true story of these people, if somebody's watching them. It's real creepy. And it's a true story. But anyway, Stifler's mom, I can't think of her name, Jennifer Coolidge. So she was she's a realtor, and so she drops some stuff about the LLCs and stuff like that. So you always have the pieces going together. It just depends on what you pay attention to. And but when we were trying to do it, it is like we would get the whole list of all the houses that were for sale, and then we would say, we want to go see this, and this. And then it's like, well, you got to go drive by it first. You can't go, we're not going to go out there until you go drive by it. So we go drive by these houses. You're driving all over town, trying to go buy these houses. And you call them, okay, we're here. We want to see it. Oh, it's already sold. What? Oh, well, the investors bought it this morning. Oh, the investors, they don't have to go out and look. They just get to buy it, they get the list, and then they're, oh, give me that, and that. And that's how we're rolling here. I was so frustrated. Oh, my God, it was so fucking fuckery. The only way we even got a house was, and it was expensive. It was way more expensive than these ones, because it was out. It was on an acre. And we just happened upon a guy who was there at the time, and it was his rental house. He was sick of renting it out, so he said that he would carry the contract for us. So we had like a 12-year contract to pay off $60,000 for this house, and we had a lot of work to do to it. But that's the house that I didn't realize was on the busy road, because we were on a Sunday and there was no traffic. And but on Monday morning, boy, there they go, 100 miles an hour through your fucking street. And we were right at a turn. People wrecked in our yard all the time. So anyways, that's when I started calling the news and newspapers and shit like that. And anyways, that's the whole thing. And then the county came in, bought our house, and we bought a different house that was up on the hill by the fucking creep ass church. So anyways, but that's a whole other thing I've talked about before. But so on this housing thing, so I went through that experience, and then I went through the over when I bought my place, at the cabin. So I bought the cabin, and it was I was really excited. It was the first place I ever bought by myself. I did it all me. It was nobody else was involved. And so I bought this little cabin in the woods, but it ended up in a neighborhood in the woods. But which there's a part of that was also good, because there was mountain lions and bears and shit. And it is kind of like being out here. It is kind of like, whoa, this is like, I'm very alone. Which yesterday I had a really creepy thing happen, but maybe I'm just, I've had so many creepy things happen. Because I went in and walked the dogs. I'm trying to push myself each day to go out in the fucking cold and walk the dogs. It just up the driveway and back, because that's about all Stella can do. And then Max too, he's just like, fuck that. They're not into the thorns. They're really, Ruthie doesn't give a fuck. Archie is just like, kind of like, okay, we'll do. But Ruthie, she's Miss Powerhouse. She just wants to go. She almost ripped my arm off the other day. But anyways, so we get down to the end of the driveway, and then I let them go out of the driveway a little bit. Across the way is these other dogs that all sound like they go crazy. I'm like, fuck, if they broke loose, it'd be hell. And so we turn around and we start coming back. And Stella is a slow mover at this point in her life. And plus, I think part of it is the thorns. But so then we go, and we're like, a little ways, like when you come through the driveway, there's some part with some trees and stuff. And I keep turning around to look and see, where's Stella. So we're down to the driveway part, and I turn and I look. Well, there's a white pickup just sitting at the end of the thing. Not at the end of our driveway, but over where there's a clearing, and there's nowhere else to go. And they're just sitting there. And to me, I'm sitting there like, they're fucking watching us. What the fuck is going on? And it brings me back to the cabin, where those guys would pull up on me and start asking who I was and shit. And then plus the Secret Service showed up. Like, I had a lot of showing up there. So it's like PTSD. I'm not sure. Is it just people out here looking at the property, and they're trying to see like property line, or, I have no idea, because it looks, there's no writing on the side of the truck, but it's definitely those big white pickup that looks, like official looking. And so I'm sitting there looking back, like, what are they going to do now? Are they going to pull up on us? Who is this? Why are they after me? And then I start being like, is it because the information, is it because what I talk about? Like, I start like going through panic mode or something. And, so then they slowly pull out, and they pull up, and I watch them go up the road. And I was like, okay, you're going crazy. It probably is somebody who, and they were out looking at it just has happened to be quite a coincidence that we're out here walking, and they stop right there, right, so we're perfect. Like it very much felt like that they were sitting there watching us. And I don't know, it could be, my brother said before, that he's had so many people pull up on him in here asking if he would be interested in selling, which I was going to tell him, hey, we're about to break ground, so nope, we're not interested in selling, sorry. But anyways, I'm still breaking ground. And I start thinking, okay, so what would I do if we broke ground? What would I do about the thorns? I was like, well, you could go in, scoop up all the first layer, bring in other new dirt, put that dirt, and then bring in sod and put sod over it, and maybe that would be the way. There's got to be a way to get rid of these fucking, they're called goat head thorns. They're vicious, man. They are fucking vicious. So anyways, that whole situation. But so back on the cabin. So when I moved into the cabin, bought it by myself and stuff, and I paid like $155, and I was you know, excited in my first place. And so I started doing all this work on it, especially when it was quarantine. Before quarantine happened, I was kind of overwhelmed by, you know, like, well, I really want to paint it because it was orange. Everything was orange. They just came in and sprayed everything with orange. And it looked very much like when you go out to a campground or something. And I was like, I don't like this. You know, I wanted to paint a different color. Well, everything just seemed like, oh, God, there's so much to do. And I have to get up on a ladder. Ugh. And then, but once quarantine happened, then I went in that direction. And I started doing all this stuff. But then there were certain things I couldn't do. Like, I needed to redo all the plumbing and stuff. There was some big things that had to be done. The roof was coming in. The roof was just had a temporary fix on one of the buildings because there was problems with that. So there was lots of things that needed to be done. And if the bank thinks that they're gonna, you know, but also these flippers, they cut corners like right and left. Like when people go in and they think, oh, look at this, it's got such a nice new kitchen. Well, it's on top of some garbage. So you gotta watch out. And, but, so it was 155. And then, the house next door to me, theirs was another little cabin. And the guy was there. They hadn't moved in or anything. He was there all the time fixing it up. And him and his girlfriend were going to retire there. And so when he would be there, you know, I'd chat a little bit. And I went over and saw what he was doing and stuff. And theirs was a couple hundred square feet bigger than mine. It had it upstairs. And so, anyways, I was like, I don't know. I think the girl got jealous or something. I don't know what their whole dynamic was. But anyways, they broke up. And so then he was like, I'm selling that. I'm not going to keep it now. And he did some real, like, bandage stuff. And, like, there was no siding on the fucking house. And I said, well, what kind of siding are you going to put on? He said, this is the siding. It was just, what you call it, that big flat wood that you buy, that you put the siding over. And he painted that. I was like, what? It's like, is that legal? I was like, what? It's so weird. And then they did a whole bunch of things, like took the wood stove, and there was a program going, like you would come in, and if you had an old wood stove, they bring you a new one, and then bring you one of these fancy heater things. And so I got that stuff. Well, he screwed that house over. He took, you know, it was really weird. But anyways, but you know, there's so many, I don't know, people are just so out for themselves, man. And it's like being so out for yourself turns into a lack of integrity. It just does. So, so then, and the crazy thing is when you're not just out for yourself, you're out for the next person, that energy comes back to you. And so good things come to you. And, anyways, you know, just like my brother and my sister-in-law, I bought this other house, moved in it, and these people were well off. It was a doctor and a nurse who had lived there. And, they had so much nice stuff, and they left it. They're like, oh, well, we're not going to move that. Do you want us to move it out? And they're like, no. It was like this sweet-ass fucking bedroom set that hadn't even been used in the guest room. I was like, no, we'll keep it. That's good. It's so fucking nice. And so, anyways, good things come back to you when you do good things. You don't have to be like, oh, let's get that and take that and screw them. It's like, that's going to come back to you. So do what you're going to do, but be aware. And then, so anyways, so these people next door, they, this was like 8 months. So I've been living there like 8 months, and they had started the, because we had a set neighborhood, and then there was this little like drive kind of that went out, and then you were like by the mountains and stuff. So it wasn't like a drive. It was like they did a partial street, like they didn't finish the street. And then so people would just walk and ride their bikes and do everything and go over there because it was like the mountains, and there was a path and stuff. And So there, then we started finding out, well, the developers own that and they're going to start building. And so they started popping up some houses. So I think they popped up like, I don't know, three houses, 4 houses or something. And so then the people next door to me bought this house. And I kept on thinking, you know, not a family would buy it. It was way too small for a family. We ended up being a family with little kids. And so they bought the house. And it just was like so much, it was so noisy. Kids make a lot of noise, especially they have kids come over. It's like so noisy. But anyways, I can see what the draw is for people who are like, well, I'm going to go live in a 55 and over community. It's like, it's so quiet. So anyways, so when they bought it, I was, somewhere in the conversation, I was like, how much did you pay? It was like $290 or $3 or something. I was like, what? I paid $155 like 8 months ago. And they're like, oh, well, it's really going up. It's going up a lot here. And I was like, that something seems weird about that whole thing. And then more and more was coming into my radar about the, you know, the criminal inflammatory, or, you know, like what they do and how they roll and what they do into inflating the price of area. Like, it's a whole fucking thing. You'd have to look. I wouldn't even be able to explain it all the way. I think you could look up gentrification. I think you can look up how they do that, and it, you know, open your eyes. And the people who do it, and super shady. Like, they have a whole way of going in, buying things, and it's a whole thing. So anyways, so then they start building more houses, and they said, you know, well, they asked us about it, and I said, bullshit. Like, there is already so much shit on the just the water, the power, the roads. They're telling us we are going to have to pay for these roads. And like, all of this bullshit was going on. And so I said, hell no to Whatcom County. And I said, no, we do not want these houses. I sent a video. I didn't even just send a letter back. And I was like, this is bullshit. But that's when I found out Whatcom County is fucking owned. They're back scratching pieces of shit. And so the developers just went to town and started building all these houses and selling them and throwing them up. Like, the houses would be up in 6 weeks. And then it was a really rainy place. So it's like, oh my God, these houses are getting drenched, and then they'll just seal it up. It's like, oh my God, these people don't even know the mold they're going to have. And they were throwing these houses up so fast, but they put them all in pretty colors and stuff. So, oh, that's pretty. I'm going to buy that one. And, but some of the people knew that they weren't made well. And so these developers are, you know, sucking themselves off, fucking so proud of themselves. I went up to one of them one time and said something, and he just looked shocked. It's like, you piece of shit. So so they started selling all these, and so it's, oh, well, it's making our houses go up. I was raising the value on our houses. And my mom was just doing this too over at her place when she'd see these houses. Oh, it's going for $2 million, 6 million, 0.2. That one, 6.2, 6.1, these $6 million houses. Oh, look at it. You know, in a neighborhood, they're selling houses for $6 million. It's a fucking facade. It's a fucking bullshit. And, so when my neighbor was like, you know, oh, well, you know, and she did make that mistake of doing one of those, oh, well, you can take the value loan out of the value. This is a trick. We learned this in 2008 and 2008. So we already learned about this, but new homeowners didn't know this fucking bullshit. And so so, you know, get a loan, and then you can do, you know, put on some siding, do all this work on your house. And So that's what they were doing, you know, taking advantage of this big increase in how much their house was going up and taking out the loan, even though theirs was like double. She's like, you could go do that. Well, I had already made my choice on the not paying thing. And so I was already in on that. And so so anyways, but that is how they do this whole thing of inflating. We're going to come in and we're going to build this stuff and then inflate the prices. So then all these people think like their house is worth more. And, but then it's this cycle thing too, because how long is it going to take before these houses start falling apart and it becomes a pit? And then the houses go down, the whole neighborhood becomes a pit. Everybody was like more fixing their houses up, painting their houses and stuff while this was going and making everything look nicer, which is good. But but it's still, it's this way that the system works. And they go and they rebuild a different place and make that place the one that's more expensive. Then they even get people to sell their places here and move over there, and then people are trying to get a place. But see, now the houses are already up 350, 375, which, you know, a year ago they were 150. So so people, you know, like me could go in and buy a house by themselves, but then there's people who you know, I mean, then you're up to 350. Well, you got to have two people's income. How are you going to do that? And then it starts getting it to where it's like two people that have, you know, stellar fucking jobs. They're making a huge amount of money when it starts getting up to 400, 450, 600,000 and stuff. And so, but then they, you know, just start a new neighborhood and and it's just this fucking game that they play, and we just go along with it. And they raise the prices. So there's a guy on TikTok that is trying to spread this awareness on how the system really works in the financial institute and with the housing market. And I only saw part 2 of somebody talking about part 2, which I don't know who it is, but I mean, I have an understanding of what it is that they're doing. So I was like, see, this is exactly what they're doing. And so there's only like some of the highlights probably I would say. But so he says, you know, they go and they make the house like 600,000. So your house goes way up in value. And then you think like, oh, look, we got all this value in our house. And he said, but it's not real. It's not a real value. He said, because you got to think about this. What if you were to sell the house? Then what are you going to do? You're going to be homeless? Or you're going to have to go buy another house. Well, the other houses are jacked up on price. So then your money's just going right back into that. And then he said they pushed on this big thing about all of these old people, all the boomers, and all this big amount of money that's going to go back into families or whatever when they pass. And so, and they're pushing this, like, I don't know, $700 billion idea around, saying that, you know, all this money from all the houses and stuff of the boomers is going to go back into help the financial system. But he said it's a lie. What it goes back into is the medical system because of all of that money, which I already know this. This was told to me, it was like 30 years ago. When I first got life insurance, the life insurance guy who came out to my house, and we became chummy there for, you know, like, insurance guys are like that. You know, they're real chummy and they'll send you cards and stuff like that. And I'll come out to go over things and stuff. And he had told me the story with his was his grandparents, and they had saved all those money for so long. And then the grandpa got sick or something, and the medical took all of their assets, everything, their house, everything. He's like, you got to be ready. You got to be prepared. You can't just depend on that, because as soon as somebody gets sick, it all goes back in. And he said that it isn't even, it's like get them on Medicare and Medicaid. This is all a facade, just like what the people in Canada is like. It's a big bullshit thing to sit there and say the government's gonna pay your insurance. It's not like that. It's not like they're taking care of you. And then when Medicare and Medicaid, so then say I were to get sick, and say I had $100,000 in the bank, and I had a nice house. And then I went into a facility, which they put you out, when you can't walk and shit, and they don't do anything about it because they would just want rid of you. And so, and they're the ones that make you sick, because this whole fucking aging thing is a fucking scam. So they put you back out into the world. If it broke, you have to find it in your own self to pull yourself up out of it. And yeah, it's gumption. And so so then you go in, and Medicare, Medicaid pays for all of this stuff. Well, then Medicare, Medicaid says, well, we need to be paid back. So we're taking this and we're taking that. We're taking all these assets. We're clearing out that bank account, and they take everything. And of course, because it's, it would be a federal crime if it weren't for they have all the judicial backing that they need to be able to do this. That's why the system is going against us. It's corrupt as fuck. So all of this stuff is, a bunch of bullshit nonsense, and your house, and it isn't really giving you more assets when they sit there and say, oh, your house is worth so much. And even when you go and you take those loans out. So, and one of the traps say with this thing, so let's say, because this was very common, this is a big thing that happened during quarantine. So so people have these certain jobs, then they have these loans, and then they, they may go in there and they may get one of those equity loans and go doing stuff on their house. They're fixing their house up. They're working hard. They're making it their home. And then, boom, a sickness happens. Everything shuts down. Well, your job, they can't open. They're not going to pay you. So now you're just going to have to sit there. Well, then the government sweeps in. Oh, well, don't worry about that. We got you covered. We're going to make it a thing. Like, as long as this sickness is occurring, don't worry. Don't worry about paying. You're fine. And so people are like, oh, okay, cool. And so just going about their life. Well, then all of a sudden, okay, it's cured. Everybody's fixed. Everything's fixed. Okay, it's all good. So then it's time to start paying again. Everybody start paying your stuff. Well, then there was some weird shit where some people were being charged for back pay. But on the loan thing, this is what I found, because mine didn't change because I was on disability and retirement. And so when it came in to the, because when Winston got sick and I had all these vet bills and stuff, so then I was like, well, I'm going to call my house place and see if I can skip a month, because I was paying ahead anyways. I was paying more than my payment because I wanted to pay it off early. And so I thought, well, I've got, see if I can skip a month. When I called, that's how I found out about this it was something. And scavenger hunt, that was the word I was thinking of the other day, scavenger hunt. This is morbid. It's not morbid, not morbid. It's morbidity. No, it's mortuary. I don't know. It was some word that they came up with for us to not pay during the thing. So they said, oh yeah, you're affected by the sickness, and don't worry about it. You don't have to pay. And so I was like, you don't? And they're like, no, you just call us each month if you don't need to pay. And so that's what really put me into I'm not paying any fucking bullshit. And during this time too, it was like when I was seeing things live, I was hearing Charlie, I was like finding out all this stuff about the system. I was, my eyes were open. And I was like, oh, this is some bullshit. And so, then, when it came time to pay again, then, they came in, and back then I used to think this money thing was going to be over. Like I thought it was going to be done by 2021. Like when I was listening to Charlie back then, I thought, oh, well, it's about to go. Here we are. It's so crazy. And even when you want something to happen, you want it to happen bad. You can't just make something happen. It's the thing about life is getting with the flow, going through what you're here to go through, because it's already set. And learning about yourself and growing and stuff, that doesn't mean you can just sit there and flip the world into what you want it to be. And because believe you me, I tried. So so anyways, then the money, so then they said, okay, well, now everybody's got to re-sign. So you had to go and re-sign your contracts again. They had to redo the contracts to rewrite in this year of not paying and add it into the end. So they were adding it into the back end of the loan. And so mine, I kept on not going because I kept thinking, well, the money thing's about to crash, fuck this bullshit. And so I wasn't signing mine, and then I was getting threatened. Okay, well, you're going to, we're going to start foreclosing, start signing this shit. So eventually I signed it, which ended up being a good thing, because the girl who came out to have me sign it, her boyfriend had just suffered a brain injury. And so when she found out I had a brain injury, then I got to say a bunch of things that were helpful for her. And so then it was like, oh, see, the things where people come into your, like, it's trippy. And so anyways, so I signed mine and went about my business. Nothing had changed on mine. They just added it onto the back end and we're good to go. Well, that's when I started seeing, like, what was really going on. That's where it set me off on this whole fucking thing, where I just was like, this is some fucking bullshit, man. So all these people who had then lost their jobs from this shutdown, well, they couldn't sign back on. They got fucked. They weren't making the same amount of money, and they had lost their jobs, and it was a whole fucking thing. And so they were taking all these people's houses from this fucking bullshit. I just couldn't believe it. I was like, what? And the shady motherfucking practices. This is some fucking bullshit, man. And that was, one of my motivations to stop supporting these people. They just are fucking us all. And they just keep doing it and doing it and doing it. And then, you have people, it's the whole fucking thing. And then going and getting loans, through the gap of what they say your house is worth and what you paid. And taking that money out, that comes back and bites you, like the whole fucking thing. So many people lost their houses over that. I was one of them. If I wouldn't have done that, and I would have got my brain injury, I would have been fine with the loan. There would have been no problem. My house payment was like $600. I'd have been good. But no, I did the stupid ass shit and put in a pool, and so yeah, you get fucked. They say, your house, you paid, $125, and then all of a sudden your house is worth $350. Oh, well, take out the gap and go, barely makes your house payment go up, and go do some work on your house. Well, you're fucked. You're fucked. And so then, because then, how do you get a loan? Because it changes the parameters. And so all these people, and a lot of people were out of work, or that they had to take lower paying jobs, or were working part-time. There was big changes that happened in people's lives during that time. And they didn't give them their same loans back. They didn't just say, okay, well, here's your loan back, figure it out. Nope. You couldn't match it. You couldn't make the same. You weren't doing the same. Well, then too bad, too sad. We can't give this house back to you. And there were so many people doing work on their houses during that time, because what else was there to do? And it doesn't just affect the homeowners. It is these infiltrators, instigators, the investors. The investors are fucking, they are our arch enemy, man, because they are, then they come in, buy up all these properties, and then they inflate the prices so you can't even rent. You can't buy, you can't rent, and that's why we have a huge population of homeless. That's why, they're, and then, they want to make it, well, if you're a homeless, and then you, what is your place on this planet? We don't have room for you. You're taking up fucking carbon, you're breathing air that we can't afford for you to breathe, you're out. And so it's all a fucking scam of control and stuff, and it all has to do with their money and their way that they move it, and you know how they inflate, and it's all a game. But yeah, it was so true what that guy said, because there's so many people who think like, oh, you know, look how much money we've made now off our house. Which there was somebody who, because the girl who, the ones that live next door, then they became friends with this other couple who moved into the new housing place. Well, those people ended up moving to California. So their house had gone up, and so they sold it. And then they made enough to be able to go to California and buy a house, which, no, that's, you know, what goes around comes around, because California's going to be under the water. So that's not really, you know, not really a good move. Because, but, you know, the people who are going and making that move, that's where they're supposed to be, because you're always going to be where you're supposed to be. And, you know, whatever your experience is that you're there to experience. And then when your time's up, your time's up. And time is closing in on us. Time is like, I see it as like it's funny. Yeah, because in the visual, you see it like all of these clocks and calendars and dates and time all around us. And then it's all collapsing. It's all falling, collapsing. It's collapsing around us. Which last night, my dreams were so fucking wild. And I did not want to wake up. And I was laying there. I was thinking, oh, I think the reason why I don't want to wake up, one of the reasons is I'm fucking busy. Like, I got a lot going at night. Like, I'm going through so many experiences, meeting up with people, doing things, all sorts of shit. And then when I get up, then it just turns into this completely redundant. Everything is like, everything is just like, at this time, this, just like, so cycling. It's so the same thing over and over. But then at night, when I go into the dream world, it's like, whoa, it's like, this is going, that's going over here, going over there. You're all over the place. So it's like, I really do like to be asleep. There's like a lot going on. It's like, okay, well, you know, we know here in a couple minutes, we know who Missy Pants over there, she's going to be like, I'm hungry again. Yeah, I know, you just ate an hour and a half ago, but I'm sure you're starved. And then the pressure of that, then clean up that mess, then go in, go out. And then these two doors, I swear to God, I could just bounce back and forth, door to door to door. Nobody can come through at the same time. Nobody can go out at the same time. It's just go back and forth and back and forth. And I can't just leave that door open because it's fucking 20 degrees in there. And then when it's warm, then it's fucking fly haven. And I can't leave this door open. It's fucking 20 degrees out there. And so, and it's just like, oh, and the moon, I did do a little video thing of the moon, because when I do these shorts, it does get all these views. And so I did the moon, the super moon. So we got the super full moon right now. So the super moon is out there, and it is supposed to, I don't know, all these astrology people are, it's supposed to make all these big changes. It's supposed to bring in the truth of what it is that you can't see, and what things have not been revealed to you, and all this stuff. It's like, I've been waiting for that for a while. So we'll see. We'll see what this moon brings us. One thing, the girl who does the spooky, scary stories, so she's also on YouTube, so you can look her up. I think her thing is called Super Spooky Stories. And she was telling two this morning that were truth stories. All of the stories that people say this really happened to them, which I believe in supernatural. You don't have to convince me of shit. I've had so many crazy fucking things happen, and people think it's all a bunch of bullshit. But it's like, well, it's true. I mean, you got to kind of tune in to this supernatural world, because that's where you come from. This other thing that you're trying to put together the pieces and keep everything sane for yourself is the false reality. So the two of them that she was saying. So one is a story, and she said she's doing it on here because there's no way that TikTok will let her do the whole thing. And but a guy had sent her the thing telling her, and she said that she had seen other art, and she said people write her these kinds of things too, not just like supernatural ones, but things that actually happen in the real world. And she'd also seen an article. So they've put out an article, and then it's also been released too about what they did in Bosnia and stuff. So, but you know, I mean, a lot of us who heard about this stuff a long while ago, and they've shown it in movies and stuff. And so sometimes, I mean, certain people like me, I can recognize when I'm watching a movie, like, oh, this is true. This is true. This isn't made up. And so but you know, rich people get bored. I mean, what are you gonna say? They get bored. And then the same story I was telling about the girl, you know, who was out at the bar, and then here, let's go to a party. You're what we're gonna look for. And so, and the lure is always these certain attractive females luring you. And so this guy, he was getting lured into being the hunted, and so adult too. And so that is, but you know, for a lot of us, we had already heard about these with the little kids and the royals and what they like. You know, it's not just let's not go hunt foxes, that's boring. Like, let's make it fun. So anyways, they yeah, you gotta make it more challenging, I guess. You know, a 3-year-old is a lot more challenging than a fox. So anyways, these fucking psychopaths though. But they don't have the same feeling, and also they know that this isn't real. And also, you can't come in to go through an experience unless you sign up for it. So, told ya. Here we go. The day begins. And so, anyways, I've got a sweater on Ruthie too. I washed Max's sweater. I put the one that fits him good back on. In the one that's bigger, it fits Ruthie. So I put it on her. She's just going around. She is really cute, but she's a little monster. She just is so like in your face. She's so she wears me the fuck out. That's what she does. And then on top of it, I got Miss Whiny Pants over there. I love her so much, but oh my god. Okay, I know, sister. Are they making you hot? Just roll over. Are they pushing up on you? She does get hot. She is hot all the time. And they do. I know what they do because they lay on top of me all day. Here she comes. It's the time. I'm telling you, time is more than just the clock. It's like we got our freaking internal timers. Like I'll be in there making my getting my water and tea and stuff ready for the next day. It's like, I swear to God, it's exact same time. I do this every day. Come here, Stinky. So anyways, the hunt is on. We know that's all true. We know that that's what they do. And so anyway, she has a super spooky story about that. And she can't tell it all on TikTok, so she does it on her YouTube. And then there's another one. And so, some of us, I think a lot of people, if you've been on social media, you've heard about what happened in the DUBAI. I'm pretty sure that's how you spell it. Or is it DUBIA? Well, you know what I'm talking about. What we've come to find out is the septic system of the system. It's real nasty. And it's where rich people like to go and play. And and what they do, so these OF and IG girls that are out there, like, have become their IG models, go buy a bunch of swimwear and then go out and take pictures of yourself in it. And then you get these other companies, we'll take some in our pictures, and then they give you a kickback or something. I don't even know. Fucking TikTok has just become, and I get messages all the time from them. If you've got any kind of following, it's like, hey, you could be making money off of this. I'm like, well, go talk to somebody else, because I'm not interested. I don't give a fuck about, I'm not going to be a part of your sell. community. I can't believe how many accounts have done it. And it's like, oh, we'll promote you. Oh, I bet you will. And that's why the whole fucking thing is just sell, sell, sell. And they're like, fuck off with this shit. You know, I don't even fucking people selling fucking shit. And then it's so crazy because if you watch one of the videos, and I can't even believe it, you will have 200,000 of the same fucking thing being sold by all these people. Like and then plus on top of it, we got all these people doing these fake ass videos. I don't even know, like this whole thing about the cheating and all this stuff. And there's other ones too. It's like all these people doing these weird ass skits, doing these weird ass videos. It's like, what the fucking sellout world do we live in? Like, is it anybody fucking, everybody's just looking to fucking make some money. It's just like, you know, fill my pocketbook full of, who cares what I got to do for it? It's like, oh, what a fucking circus, man. So anyways, so these OAF IG girls are out there like selling, which, you know, OAF has become, you know, just, yeah, well, that's what we do. It's like, it used to be something that people found great shame in, like, oh, I've got nothing to offer the world, I guess I'll take a little of this. And now it's just like, hey, I don't need to offer anything, but I got this. It's like, come on, who's the buyer? I mean, there's a girl out there who's like, well, I was going to do 2,000, and now that other girl, she did 2,000, so now I'm doing 5. So line up, boys. Buy your tickets now. Okay. Yeah, I have great pride in the, yeah, well, I've done 20,000 guys. Like, really? Do you know what any of them even look like? What, you know, and you're just taking all the, in the energy, and the, just, oh, no, please. It's like, people just don't even know what the hell they're doing. It's like, well, it's, and I heard somebody saying too, we're going into, you know, a lot of people think it's about the free love. We're going into this free love. It's not. It's, we're moving out of this, like, just give it away, give it away, give it away, into respect, self-respect. And then you still have these celebrities out here just, J-Lo, she's all over the place. It's like, dude, if you got money and you're so beautiful and you're so that, why are you out there still shaking it in a fucking G-string? Like, you know, okay, got it. This is where, you know, this is where we're going, and this is where you're going. And so, but, you know, there's a group of us that are going into self-respect world, not this, like, give it away, hey, somebody give me $5 and sell tickets. That's what you're worth. You know, how fast can you shake your ass? So anyways, circus fucking world. And so you got all these girls that are out there, you know, showing how good they look in a bikini, and which it used to be before our society started gaining so much weight. It was like everybody looked in a bikini. It was like, so I don't know, something just off about it. Anyways, and so anyways, the but in this place, so there's a story that she had gotten, and so, and it's about this place and their chocolates, and that it's, so they're trying to say, you know, all of these elite chocolates. And also the coin that's a bit is involved in this paying these girls that come over there. And so the girls get pulled in. Okay, we're going to do this whole big thing with these chocolates, and we're trying to get all these beautiful models to come over and do these photo shoots. So we think you'd be great. So they've got these other models, just like this is what went on with, you know, these models like Naomi, what is that? Not Naomi Watts, Naomi Campbell, and some other ones. What is that girl's name? Which everybody's like, oh, they're girls or boys, boys or girls. And it's like, I don't fucking even care at this point. But the ones that go and look like girls, and then they are these attractive girls that pull other girls in, oh yeah, it's great. You go over here, you can make all this money. So this one got suckered in and got the flight, went over there and got in the place. And so she thinks that, you know, they're going to go do this big photo shoot. They show up and it's all of these men that are there, and then you're locked in. And then there's a whole lot of number one and number two being consumed. A whole lot of, she said there's even like a humiliation situation where they will cut the girl's hair off, their nails off. They'll try and make them look real ugly, which the one that got all of the notice on her was a real beautiful model. I don't know where she was from, Eastern Europe or something, I'm not sure, but she, because they come from all over the place, not just from here, they're all over the place, they're pulled in, and, they razor, knocked all her teeth out, like it's pretty bad, and broke all of her bones or something like that. She was bad, found on the side of the road. She lived. You know, they knocked all her teeth out, and they cut her hair off, beat the shit out of her, broke her bones and shit. So they're real, these are not safe places to go. And she said that when she was in there, she started freaking out what was going on, and that some of the girls are seasoned, and they're like, just go with it, you'll get paid. And she said she went with it because she was scared not to, because she didn't know what they would do if she didn't. And then the next day when she got out at 5 in the morning, she ran to her hotel, got a flight out, and left. But she's been in counseling ever since, and she's come in contact with some other girls that have gone through it. And so they're trying to bring it to the light of what's going on over there, which, you know, it's just like, I mean, when you got, you know, this hunting ordeal, this, you know, the red room, like all of these certain things. Well, this is what these people like to do. They are, you know, and then the coin, anything that's involved with that coin, and you're all, oh yeah, you get paid in the coin. It's like, okay, you know it's bad. You know it's a bad situation. And so, yeah, they even told her, oh yeah, you get paid. They'll pay you with the coin. And it's like, dude, yeah, you're getting paid with that shit. That is dark money. And so, anyways, there's a bunch of girls that are trying to bring that whistleblow into that situation. But, you know, those of us who are into looking into the dark rooms without any, you know, being called crazy. Well, there's a lot of this shit that we've already known. I'm glad that there's people out here who are blowing the way for the rest of the people to start paying attention. Like, this is bad news. Like, we cannot just go through life just pretending like everything's cool. Just going through, like, paying their shit and stuff. At some point, we gotta say, fuck this, fuck them. And then see, you know, stop, drop, and roll and see who is right and who is wrong, who is fair and who isn't. And then you got, oh yeah, because this was another one, a lady talking about in her community, there's a place that helps all these people. So it's housing, I don't know, 18 young people who are with child that don't have anywhere to go, like homeless teens or something. And now they just got all their funding pulled. And they, you know, you people voted for this. Some of these people, they're realizing, like, I voted for this. I thought they were pro this situation and all that stuff. And, you know, I don't want to just be like, hey, they're pulling all of this, like, money because of the way it travels. You know, there's a system that needs to be cleaned up. This, you know, is a big problem in our system of, oh yeah, and the guy who I was trying to, you know, this Tim Walz guy, I had forgotten, because I knew I had heard about this guy. I forgot that was, you know, running mate for Conning. So, yeah, that was, her person who she was running with. And then there's some people who are like, well, you know, he didn't want to go against these people from this place because he didn't want to look racist. Bullshit. Don't fucking believe any of this bullshit. These people on that one side don't have any problem with their racism. Like, they just spread it. It's all bullshit. It is that they use these people. Like, we get this money moving. Oh, well, we need this much money, you know, in our grant to pay for all these people, when it's not, it's all such fucking bullshit. It's so fucking irritating. But that's why there's programs and shit that are closing down. It's because there's people who are involved who are not using the money the way it's supposed to be used. It's a big facade, and it's coming out of all of our pocketbooks because they're making us pay this shit. It's like, oh, well, we need your tax money. We got to keep this world running. It's like, well, the only thing running is a bunch of y'all with your fucking pocketbook going and buying islands. So fuck off with this shit. It's a bunch of bullshit. And so it has to be exposed. It has to come to the surface. It has to be shown, and they have to close certain places down that are going to hit hard. And then people have got to, you know, I mean, people who are in these places and stuff, like, you know, come together, figure stuff out. What can you do? How do you work together to create something? You know, stick in a garden. Yeah, go out and do a car wash. Do stuff, you know, come together. It's like, oh, well, then we can sit here and our fat check's gone, so we're just going to sit here and cry like our government is not doing what they're supposed to do. Like, you voted this in. It's like, yeah, well, there's a lot of us who did vote in it. I didn't vote this one. I'm going to finish with that bullshit, too, because it's a bunch of bullshit. And that's more of what's also going to be coming to the surface, and it keeps being out there in the narrative of like, nah, we're not put in here. We're put in place. They pick and choose. Oh, that guy's going to be, yeah, he's going to be the one. And then they run the numbers, and somehow they come out the way they want it to. So what we want is not what they want. And so it's all bullshit. But there is a lot of people who were, you know, trying to put people out there who were going to show and take down and drain, you know, but it is, you know, I mean, there's whole fucking countries that are just swampy. So we got a swamp problem. We got a water problem, which in the micro macro, look at what's going down. And so, yeah, we got issues, and they've got to be dismantled. And so as they're being torn down and pulled apart, you can't sit and whine about it. It's like, well, this is what we asked for. We wanted it fucking torn down. And then just because it's being torn down doesn't mean it's not going to be brought back up. It's like things that got to be taken apart so that we can build them back up. But where do we start? We need to come and step in for ourselves. We need to make moves. We need to do things and make things different. You can't just sit here and put your kid in school and then whine and cry every day about what's going on in school. Make a change. Do something different. Start talking to teachers and saying, hey, we got a group of moms over here. We like to pay you and hire you. We don't want our kids to go there, so can you come and teach our kids over here? And, you know, start doing things different. How do things turn if we don't do things different, if we don't step up for ourselves? And that's what this whole awakening is all about. It's about us learning how to step up for ourselves, because otherwise we are just a product of our environment. We are the product. We are the energy. They're just feeding off of us and keeping in turmoil and keeping us in separation. When we come together, we are strong and we are powerful, and we all bring parts of the puzzle. And that's why they don't want us to come together. They don't want this shit to flip. But you just, you know, you need to see what's bigger. And, but, you know, there's still going to be the group that does in that direction that's going to go. And then the others who struggle, but they're here to continue the lessons of what it is you learn in these places that are, it's the only place you can learn, because like, yeah, when, you know, up in the heavens, things go good. You got to come down here to have the obstacles, to have the reference of the dark, for things to be harder and more difficult is how you learn. And so when you come into the learning phase of going into the dark, then that's where you're going to hit into all these obstacles. Well, there's a lot of people who got more lessons, and so that's where they're going to go into places to learn more lessons. So again, it's not like, oh, that's the winners and those are the losers. It's like your soul isn't like that. Your soul's going here, it's going there, it's going where it's supposed to go. And, you know, I just know that, I mean, it's like programmed into me or something of this, you know, it's letting go of this world. It's becoming fully yourself. It's becoming more empathic of caring and having empathy for people and compassion and not being in judgment and fear and anger and bitterness and resentment. Those are the things that those are the lessons to learn more of, like, why you don't hold on to those things. And those things keep you in the dark. As long as you're holding on to them, you can't move out of that vibration. It holds you. And so that's why you got to purge them out. But that's what you got to let go of in order to go back into the light where everything goes well, like, where things are good. Bet your ass, just because you are, go back into the light doesn't mean you're never going back into the dark, because like I've said, it creates a stagnation. And so, when the universe is all about growth, it's about learning and growing and moving and evolving and keeps the go, so anyways, nobody's doing anything wrong and everything is the way it's supposed to be. And the more aware you become of yourself, the more you direct yourself in the direction. But that is a part of your play. That's a part of your experience. It's not like you're tricking yourself and you're doing something you weren't going to do. You were always going to do it. It may feel like, ooh, epiphany, I just figured it out. But you were always going to figure it out. You were always going to go in the direction you go. So there's nothing you need to worry about. There's nothing you need. The biggest thing to me that people need to, is stop fighting against yourself. You're here for a reason, and the reason is it's in play. The ball's in play. And the more you try and control it, the more frustrated you'll find. The more you get with, rolling with the ball, then staying in flow, then you enjoy the ride. But the more you get frustrated and, think the ball's going in the wrong direction, I've got to turn it this way because that's what I want to do. It's like, that's you fighting yourself. So anyways, that's how I look at it. And so to me, like I say every fucking day, is, the challenge to me is the learning to love yourself. That's what I'm here to learn about. That's what I'm here to grow about, is, it is a lesson plan. You have to learn to love yourself. There's a lot of things you got to let go of to find that lesson. And so, you have to let go of guilt. You have to let go of resentment. You have to let go of anger. You have to let go of all of these things that hold you back. And because those are the chains that bind you. And as you let go of those things, then it puts you more into the role of learning how to love yourself, because it's a lesson. It's a learning. And then it's learning how to love everybody, because it goes hand in hand. Learning how to love yourself is learning how to love everybody. And then once you can figure those things out, then it's like start focusing on what it is you want to focus. What makes you happy? What gives you joy? Don't sit here and focus on the things that make you miserable, because it's what makes you miserable. So anyways, we'll see. We'll see what this day brings us. I know what it's mostly going to bring me is the same fucking thing it brought me yesterday. So, but we'll see. We'll see how it rolls out. And I'll check my account today and see if there happens to be any money in it, but it's unlikely. So, we'll see. We'll see how this day rolls, and we'll see what comes our way, and we will talk about it tomorrow. So anyways, I'll talk to you later. Bye.